Hello. Thank you very much for being here with us today. We are passing now to the next session about sustainable blue economy. We have with us today two representatives from two financial institutions that are very active in the field of sustainable blue economy. Thank you both for being here with us today. I would like to ask first Mr. Herrera-Martínez to talk to us about EBRD.
Well, thank you, Ifigeneia. And thank you for the kind invitation to speak here today. It was actually a pleasure to hear the previous speaker to speak about partnerships, because this is precisely what we've been trying to build with Juan and with the colleagues from EIB. I'll go into it later on, but it was actually a great surprise to see the highlighting of partnerships in order to address the global blue commons. So I would have been delighted to be with you in person in beautiful Athens, but the pandemic has had a silver lining. We can now join remotely without in these important meetings without increasing our carbon footprint. So addressing the question of why is sustainable blue economy important for development finance? Well, first of all, because as you've heard before today, water means life. Our oceans cover 70% of the Earth's surface, and they are about home to about 80% of the life in the world. They generate 50% of the oxygen we need and absorb 25% of the CO2 emissions. So they're the livelihood of billions of peoples in coastal communities, and those depend directly from the resources the ocean provides. And we find ourselves nowadays in the blue version of a tragedy of the commons. So the health of the oceans is declining at an unprecedented rate, with 90% of the world fisheries being overfished, as the previous speaker highlighted before. More than 8 million tons of plastic end up in our oceans per year, and is expected to be tripled by 2040. Oil spills, harmful invasive species, fertilizer, pesticide pollution, algae growth, acidifications, all these issues are actually depleting the blue resources and putting the marine ecosystems at the brink of collapse. On the other hand, resolving these projects in a sustainable manner and managing marine resources offers huge opportunities for economic development, which is what we're trying to address in development finance, and opportunities for work creation from sustainable aquaculture to offshore renewable energy. The above makes transitioning to a sustainable blue economy very relevant for the EBRD, for the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. And for those of you that might not be familiar with EBRD, the EBRD was created in 1991 as a transition bank. In fact, to help build a new post-Cold War era in Central and Eastern Europe and in Central Asia. Then we expanded to Turkey, to Southern Eastern Mediterranean, and soon we will be expanding to Sub-Saharan Africa. So since it was created, EBRD has had the sustainability concept and sustainable development embodied in its mandate. Our business model actually combines investments, about 11 billion per year. We do in 500 projects roughly per year, with technical assistance to clients for project preparation and implementation and monitoring, and policy dialogue to create the enabling environment that accelerates green and also blue transformation in the countries where we operate. So to date, we've signed about 36 billion in green investments, financed over 2,000 green projects, and are expected to yield more than 100 million tons of CO2 emissions. To give you a reference, those are the emissions combined of Bulgaria, Croatia, and Serbia, to quote neighborhood countries to Greece. And together with the rest of the NDBs and linking to the previous discussion, we're working towards incorporating biodiversity and nature conservation in all our activities. Just like for climate, nature-related risks need to be assessed, valued, and especially in the sense of supply chains, considering supply chains. So the sustainable use and protection of water and marine resources is a key sustainability driver for our shareholders, our stakeholders, as reflected in the EU taxonomy environmental objectives, and I think Juan will address later on, and are an essential element for the delivery of EBRD sustainability mandate. So these are the main reasons why promoting a sustainable blue economy is of great importance for the EBRD.
Thank you very much. I wanted also to ask you what are some examples and maybe your future plans, like something more to understand how EBRD plans to move forward with the sustainable blue economy.
Thank you, Ifigeneia. In fact, we plan to move forward together with our colleagues from EIB and from the other regional development agencies. Just for the last 3 decades, in fact, we started looking into the specific blue economy relatively recently. When our colleagues from EIB and WWF and the Commission, invited us to join the blue economy finance principles. And then when we started looking at the numbers, we actually realized that we had done more on blue economy than we thought. And I'll go into some numbers and some examples. For the last 3 decades, we've invested about 7 billion euros to a total project value of 20 billion euros in sustainable blue economy investments. And I think the most prevalent example of all this is the Northern Dimension Environmental Partnership, in which the EIB is also part of. To which EIB is also part of. Since 2001, the EBRD hosted this NDP, this Northern Dimension Environmental Partnership, that supports wastewater treatment and solid waste management to help reverse eutrophication and environmental degradation in the Gulf of Finland and the overall Baltic Sea. So this was a call by the government of Finland and the EU Commission in 2001. So, results are monitored by the Helsinki Convention, and it's been recorded that the NDP has helped drop phosphorus and nitrogen levels by 60% and 20% respectively in the Gulf of Finland. Ecosystems in the region are slowly recovering, and populations of, for example, seals and white-tailed eagles seem to be coming back. So a very pollution prevention mechanism has had a very tangible and very clear ecosystem and biodiversity impacts, which is important. They are important to be monitored. So our experience in the Baltic Sea provides a very meaningful lesson that we need to focus on ecosystems and in achieving systemic impact to address local challenges. And that's where partnerships are key. On the other hand, there's a lot to be done, and in the Baltic and elsewhere. I mean, if you look at the report of HELCOM, it actually praises the work done, but it also, it reflects the bad state the Baltic is still in. So there's a lot to be done, and a region in EBRD, also for EIB, faces quite complex challenges. The environmental degradation of the Mediterranean, the Black Sea, the Atlantic coasts is huge due to overfishing and treated water and real estate overdevelopment. So we know that the Mediterranean is home to 450 million people, and it hosts 8% of the world marine biodiversity. Yet only a fraction of the sewage water in some regions is actually properly treated. So 230,000 tons of plastic leak into this sea every year, with a potential to double it by 2040. So to address these problems, we finance quite ambitious projects, especially in Egypt and Jordan. Together with EIB, we actually help rehabilitate the Kitchener drain in Egypt, one of the most polluted areas in the Nile Delta. And with that, improve the environmental social conditions of more than 5 million people in 11 districts in Egypt. We've also financed in the Fayoum governorship the treatment of water in the Fayoum lakes. And in Jordan, we financed the construction of a very large wastewater treatment facility that serves 6 million people, including 500,000 Syrian refugees in the Amman area. And recently, to accelerate the contribution towards cleaner seas and find marine plastic pollution, we joined EIB, the First Development Agency, CDP, ECO, and KfW in the Clean Oceans Initiative. And in February this year, we committed jointly to actually provide at least 4 million euros in marine pollution prevention projects. But the Mediterranean actually requires more decisive action. So together with EIB and KfW and the Union of the Mediterranean, which is key as a political actor, and in order to achieve this systemic change at the heart of a region, we have proposed to replicate the partnership that NDP kind of embodies into the Mediterranean region. A blue Mediterranean partnership to clean up and preserve what the Romans called our sea, Mare Nostrum, and I believe that Mesogeos is how you call it in Mesogeos in Greek, right? The sea in the middle of that. So this new partnership will tackle a number of issues, from municipal environmental services, solid waste management, wastewater treatment, sustainable maritime transport and ports, coastal resilience, nature-based solutions, sustainable coastal tourism, sustainable aquaculture and fisheries, and marine renewable energy. And all these sectors have been mentioned in the previous discussions. I believe Juan Bofill, my colleague from EIB, with who we closely work, will provide more details in all these areas. So these investments would be supported by policy dialogue, which is, I think, a key pillar in what we've done in the Northern Dimension, in order to actually trigger reforms to strengthen the legal and regulatory frameworks to protect the marine environment in the countries where we operate. I mean, the proposal is to actually work in the southern and eastern Mediterranean outside the EU, because the EU has its own special framework and funds. So, and with these ideas and new commitments, we would like to actually help create momentum ahead of the COP27 Sharm el-Sheikh this November, to also make that forum a relevant forum for the protection of our seas, right, and especially of the Mediterranean. So that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is very important to state that we need all together in a common action to actually address these issues. I would like now to pass to Mr. Bofill from the EIB. Thank you very much for being here with us today. I know that you have a presentation with you, so I will give you the floor to start, and we can have further discussion.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you, the organizers, the American Chamber of Commerce, for inviting me to participate in this interesting forum. Unfortunately, as my colleague and friend Adonai, I couldn't be there, but I would have liked to. So I can say only Kalimera is the only word that I can say in Greek, in Greece. I don't know if you know the European Investment Bank, so I will briefly say some things about it. The European Investment Bank is the EU bank. Basically, the shareholders are the 27 countries, member states, and basically we invest in projects. That's our main goal in order to promote the EU's policies. But inside these projects, we have many that we can call blue economy activities, blue economy projects. I will try to see if this works. Okay, perfect. So, for example, in the sectors that we are dealing with, what we call blue economy in the EIB, are the ones that you have in the screen, which basically are water, fisheries, port infrastructure, marine recovery energy, renewable energy, solid waste management, marine coastal tourism, shipping, coastal protection, and research and development. And in terms of funds, what we can say is that every year we invest at least 60 billion euro in projects, and a big proportion is something like this, because I can name, for example, the ones in water. Usually we invest like 3 billion euro in water projects. That's just as an example of the volume that we're talking about here. So, as Adonai said, we have a very close collaboration with other entities. I think as the champion in collaboration is EBRD, and I'm very glad to be here also in the same panel in terms of many the future collaboration and the current collaboration. No? Here, what we have in the screen several examples of what we do in this regard, all initiatives we have. For example, we also were a co-founder of the Sustainable Blue Economy Financing Principles in 2018, together with other institutions. We also are one of the financiers that started the Clean Oceans Initiative together with other colleagues. I will explain briefly more in detail what we do there. And also we, since the beginning, since 2002, which is a long 20 years ago, we are pushing for offshore wind in order to also to fulfill all our targets for climate change mitigation. Also, we are doing what we have our own facility, which is called Blue SOS. So for all the projects or all the sectors not covered by the Clean Oceans Initiative, which is basically tackling plastic pollution, we have our own initiative, internal road commitment to finance other blue economy projects. And also we have invested in funds, created in funds like Portugal Blue. We also collaborate with the EC, and recently we have signed an MOU with Asian Development Bank, which is an area that we also covered, but very not in a wide range. The Clean Oceans Initiative, the 6 institutions that are there are the proud members of it. We saw that there's a huge problem with plastics. We know all the data, all the details, all the numbers that we are having, like 8 million tons of plastics are discharged every year into the ocean, 8 million metric tons, which is a lot. And also we see for also internal research that at least 1.5 million tons of microplastics are discharged as well into the oceans. No, in the screen you can see the balls, and the little balls, red balls. This means the plastic pollution that is being discharged. So we have, as you can see, in Asia Pacific, it's really dramatic. Also in Latin America, it's quite important. You cannot see even these islands like Cuba and Dominican Republic because of the size of the boat. And also in the northern Africa is also a significant problem. For example, the Nile, I see that it's not very large, but the Nile is huge. And projects like the Kitchener Drain, the one that Adonai was explaining, is one of the projects that we're investing in order to reduce this problem. No? A basic story, Adonai has already mentioned this, that the goal is to finance up to 4 billion euro in projects until 2025, projects that have a significant impact in reduction of plastics into the oceans. So currently, we are in 2022, we're almost half. I would say that we are more than half, 50% of the target. So I think we are quite on track, but always looking for more projects and with technical assistance, trying to find the best projects to address this issue. The sectors are solid waste management, innovative plastics projects, urban stormwater management, and wastewater treatment plants. I will not stop much in that. The other strategy that we have in the bank, which is the Sustainable Ocean Strategy, it's our own strategy, or let's say facility. The idea is to cover everything that is not covered by the Clean Oceans Initiative, together with these partners, which is investing as much as we can in coastal protection, sustainable seafood, green shipping, and also research and development initiatives. This initiative has a target of 2.5 billion up to 2023. We are more or less also a little bit in the 40% of this target, and always looking for more and more projects in this regard. So I think that's in relation to the presentation. I just can only concur the importance of the partnerships, and we are pushing, and we are more than delighted to be able to first to collaborate more in the facilities that we have, and also new facilities, at the one that Adonai was mentioning, the Blue Med Fund, Blue Med Partnership. We are also looking at that, and we will be quite happy to continue our collaboration, because the goal, I didn't mention the importance of the ocean, because probably it was mentioned in all this, every panel said how much CO2 the oceans attract, but I thought it was more important to show what we do and what we would like to do more, of course.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bofill. I would also like to ask you something more technical, let's say, since you are also the secretary of the group for water and waste activities of the EU taxonomy. And I would like for you to explain to us how the EU taxonomy will and can actually influence the sustainable blue economy and the Mediterranean.
Yeah, sure. Well, for those that are not very familiar with the taxonomy, this is one exercise or one work that the Commission is working on. I mean, it was created a platform, technical platform, in order to address or check all the economy, all the activities in the economy, in order to find the activities that could be declared as sustainable, because they have a substantial contribution to one of the 6 environmental objectives and not harming the others. No, so the idea is that the activities are looked from the perspective of having this sustainable contribution compared with several thresholds, thresholds of performance, for example. So so far, the taxonomy or the economy or the platform has already prepared two taxonomies of the climate change mitigation and the climate change adaptation. And currently, we are working on the other 4 objectives. And one of them is called a name which is really relevant for us, which is sustainable use and protection of water and marine resources. No? So far, it was published a report this March, where several activities are already included there in this report, and these activities are already addressing what thresholds they will need to be fulfilled in this activity, in the performance of the activities, in order to be considered as aligned with the taxonomy. And the ones relevant for the blue economy and also for the Mediterranean, for example, fishing. Fishing is already included in the report in March. Flood risk prevention and protection against coastal floods is, for example, included. Nature-based solution for protection of coastal waters, restoration of marine resources, and also other important activities that reduce pollution, for example, urban wastewater treatment and solid waste. So once the taxonomy is adopted, besides of this that was adopted in December 2021, the one related to climate, this were already adopted by the Parliament, but the other 4 will probably adopted during 2023. It's not yet known, but it will be probably adopted. So once this is in place, it will be a clear definition for the financial institutions of what's sustainable, what's green, especially in the EU, but other institutions outside the EU might take this taxonomy as a reference. So, for example, the EU, the EIB is already applying the criteria of the climate taxonomy, and will apply the criteria in the future, in this criteria for what's sustainable or what is not sustainable. And of course, we will have commitments, and we have our climate bank roadmap. The commitment is that at least 50% of our financing in 2025 has to be sustainable, has to be in this aligned with this taxonomy. So I think it would be important, very relevant.
Thank you very much. This is something that actually gives for everyone a list and how and the levels in order for activities to be aligned with the EU taxonomy, which makes it very important. Thank you very much. I don't know if you want something to add. But okay, so I would like to ask for the next facilitator to join us. Thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.